Good morning, fabulous folks. Yep, I am in the Catmobile, Vito the Fiat, as he is known, and I am fixing to head out for today's hike. I'm going to Oconee State Park, and I'm going to attempt the Tammasee Ridge Trail, and we'll see how far I get on it. It's only 4.1 miles. According to all trails is usually at least a half mile off, so I'm just going to say 4.5, 4.6. And apparently it has great views, and I've never been to it before. My ADHD demands that I do new trails frequently because I get really bored really fast. So we're doing this one. I'm kind of anxious about it. It is a 48-minute drive away. I don't know how well or if my back can handle a 48-minute drive. I do have this neat new cushion that a friend bought me that is supposed to help sciatica. I use it religiously. I guess it helps some, but I've never tested it out for anything longer than 10 minutes. Haven't been doing DoorDash, haven't been doing Walmart, because sitting and driving just hurts my back too much. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete this entire trail. I don't know if I can even make it to the trail in the first place. So we're going to find out. And sink or swim, y'all are coming along for the ride. So rehab and recovery continues. One trail at a time. Alright, here we are, Oconee State Park. And of course the good thing about me having moved to South Carolina, even if it was only for 3 months, was that I went ahead and bought a state park annual pass. So I don't have to pay anything to park here. Yay. Now I just gotta get a Georgia State Park pass. That's about 50 bucks. But yeah, one thing at a time. And honestly, I would have gone to one of the Georgia State Parks today. I was looking at Black Rock Mountain State Park. That's a good one, but I don't have the parking pass for Georgia State Parks yet, and so it's like $5 to park, and yeah, free is good. I like free. So here we are in South Carolina. Of course, where I live in Toccoa is literally only 10 minutes from the South Carolina state line, and something like an hour from North Carolina, maybe 90 minutes tops. So, you know, this is literally going next door, no big deal. Almost there. Here we are at Oconee State Park, and definitely have been here before, of course. I have day hiked on the Foothills Trail a little bit, which of course starts in this same park, but I've never done an overnight yet. Anyway, here is this showing, okay, Foothills Trail starts here in Oconee State Park, goes all the way up into North Carolina a little bit, and it just kind of zigzags back and forth, and then ends in Table Rock State Park. But we are not doing the Foothills Trail today. We're doing the Tammasee Knob Trail, which is right across the street. Okay, so apparently it starts on the Foothills Trail. I've done a couple other day hikes that started on the Foothills Trail but did not stay on the Foothills Trail. So this right here is kind of familiar territory. It's been at least a year since I've been here. But starting off here, it's 2.1 miles one way. And at some point we will veer off the Foothills Trail onto the Tammasee Knob Trail. Oh look, there is a white blaze. That makes me sad. I should not be on this trail. I should be on the Appalachian Trail. But right now I'm lucky I can be on any trail. I just started walking, and so of course my back and hip are hurting a bit from the sciatica. My leg is a little tingly and numbish, but not too bad. It's been worse. And recent experience has shown me that after about 15 minutes or so of walking and moving and standing, the pain should go away. Again, of course, I'm only wearing a day pack. I'm not wearing a heavy overnight pack. Figure 4 pounds of water. My phone charger is about 1 pound. Snacks and food. I'll say 1 pound. So 4 pounds maybe? 5. This really is such a pretty little trail. Okay, so here we come to a crossroads. We can go that way. You probably can't see that sign. Let me zoom in. But it points the way to the Palmetto Trail. And that's kind of wild because where I was in South Carolina before, Myrtle Beach Way, one of the trails I hiked on as a day hike was part of the Palmetto Trail. But we go this way into one of these neat little tunnels, and there we go. If we went left, it would be the Foothills Trail in Hidden Falls. I think I've done Hidden Falls, I don't remember. And to the right, that's where we're going, Tammasee Knob. And by we, I mean me and all of y'all virtually. So, yeah, let's get this show on the road. White Blaze is the Foothills Trail, I believe, and Yellow Blaze is probably the Tammasee Knob Trail. So, here we go, y'all. We have officially been half a mile. Anyway, because of my back, and I didn't expect, I had no idea my back was in as bad a shape it was until I was on the Appalachian Trail. And I'm sure the 35-pound pack, you know, made it worse. I know it did, because now I have something compressed in there, which is pinching the nerve, which is giving me the numbness and tingling in my leg. So this hike that once I would have thought was just easy breezy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, it's a little bitty 2-mile hike one way. Actually scares the crap out of me. Because, you know, I was out there on the trail, and, you know, I have already done the first 167 miles of the Appalachian Trail. Done everything from the approach trail through Fontana Dam, right? I've done everything I was doing back in March, I've done before, right? And I know I can hike 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles a day if I need to. And the whole time I was on trail, I could never get past 3 miles. I think my best day was 4 miles. And I just couldn't understand why. And, you know, I've always been a slow hiker, so that wasn't anything new, but I just could not for the life of me understand why every step I took was absolute misery. Why I couldn't hardly go 10 feet without stopping, right? And what really frustrated me was it never got any better, you know? After 3 weeks on trail, I was like, okay, 3 weeks on trail, I'm gonna be doing better, and I wasn't, and I was in so much pain. And I was just so frustrated. I didn't understand, why isn't this working? I've done this. And it wasn't until I got off trail to take care of my cat and to attend Holy Week and Easter services that I really got a clear picture of how bad my back was. That I was in so much pain, and it wasn't me making it up, or me being a wimp, and me being lazy, and me doing, whatever. Figured after 2 weeks, my back would be good, and I'd be able to go back out there. 2-week break, rest, and after 2 weeks, my back wasn't any better. And now, 2 months later, my back is slightly better, but I can't even say moderately better. I can only say slightly better. So, really, that whole experience was weirdly traumatic, and that's, oh yay, that looks safe. Awesome. Please don't fall on me. It's like, man, I'm out here literally living my dream, the thing I want to do, and now all of a sudden I can't actually do it, and I didn't understand why. And now I know. The 8 months, 10 months I had spent prior to my hike, what was I doing for work? Driving 10, 12 hours a day, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. I'm in my car, driving, doing Walmart deliveries, doing DoorDash, just working like crazy just to survive. So it was all that driving, and then of course there was an interstate move, and then another interstate move, and all that time in my car is what wrecked my spine. And I didn't realize it until like the past couple weeks. And I didn't know that before I got on the trail. I had no idea. It was just, I guess I'd gotten so used to it. I didn't know how bad it was. And then when I got out there carrying the heavy weight, it made it so much worse. And it was, toward the end of week 2 out there that my legs started going numb and the tingling started, and I thought, oh, that's either the diabetes or it's something with my back. I don't know. And so that's why at the end of week 3, when everything happened with, needing to get my cat and all that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go take care of this now, and then take like a 2-week break, and then decide what to do. And, here we are now, realizing that my back is seriously foobarred. If you're military or no military, you know exactly what foobar means. I'm not going to repeat it here out of, respect for polite company. So now, I have 10 months to fix my back and save $4,000. And, the thought that eats at me at night is, what if it's not possible, right? What if my back really is messed up beyond all repair? What if I'll never be able to carry a pack again, right? What if I'm not able to save $4,000? All these things, just being realistic. But see, here's the thing. Failure is not an option. quitting is not an option. I'm going to do everything within my power. And my power is limited because I don't have insurance, I don't have money. You know, anywhere from 15 to 25 hours as a grill cook at a chicken place. You know, which would be great if I could supplement it with Walmart and DoorDash. But I can't be in the car that long because that messes up my back. So I'm down to just that little bit of income. So, you know, can I save it? I'm going to do my darndest to try. So, you know, it's a lot of unknowns. But I'm not going to quit. And I'm not going to give up. And in the next 10 months, I am consciously, every single thing I'm doing is geared toward getting back on trail, you know. Like yesterday after church, and, you know, I went to a wedding after church. A couple in our church got married. It was really great. I did not go to the reception because, you know, there are people in my church, but I don't know them that well, and you know, reception was, of course, invitation only, I believe. Everyone in the church was at the wedding, but I didn't want to intrude on the reception. So, anyway, after I had church and the wedding, I had to run by the grocery store to get a couple more things to do my weekly meal prep. And I was hungry. I was so hungry. I'd eaten lunch after church. But, you know, a couple hours later, I was starving. And I really, really wanted a cake or a donut or a bag of chips. And it was so freaking tempting. But two things enabled me to not do it. First and foremost was, I can't eat like that because it causes inflammation. It makes my body worse. And I won't get back on trail if I eat like that. And second was, now that I have been eating very clean since Easter for the past month, been very strict with what I eat. If I have something like a donut or a cake or chips or whatever, it's gonna make me feel gross and sick and icky and sluggish, and you know, I don't want that. So I was very tempted to do my emotional eating thing. But thanks be to God, I didn't. And the point of that is, everything I do, even the smallest decisions every day, is with the goal of getting back on the trail and being able to successfully hike it. For however long, you know, I can, however long, you know, my budget will allow me. My goal next year is to hike the trail. And I'm not going to eat something that will harm my body and keep me off trail. Every exercise I do is to get back on trail. Every day I go to work, it's with the focus of getting back on trail. You know, if I was home for good, I would be focusing a lot more on getting an office job. You know, something stable that I know for a fact I can spend the next 15 years at. But right now, my goal is to get back on the trail in April. And in restaurant world, if you're working at a place for 10 months, then gosh, you're an old timer. Restaurants have a lot of high turnover. So I figure there's no losing there, right? Spend the next 10 months learning to be the best fry cook I possibly can. You know, make those eggs, make those grits, make that sausage, and whatever else they train me in. be the absolute best I can be. And then in March, if my back allows it, I can then give my notice and say, hey, I'm going to go hike the trail. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. If my back is recouped and able to help to do it. So that does two things. First of all, I have had a year almost of experience and gained new skills, right? So when I go hike the trail, if I do, which I'm planning on, but you know, gotta be realistic. So assuming I hike the trail, let's just assume I hike the trail, I make it to Maine, I come back. Okay, great, I need a job. Well, guess what? I know I can go work in a kitchen somewhere because I have all this experience, and you know, restaurants are always hiring, so there's always a chance I could go back where I am now. And if not, then there's a lot of other restaurants. You know, and you know, maybe hopefully one day I can find me a nice office somewhere, receptionist or secretary or paralegal, I don't really care at this point. But if not, see, if not, here's the thing, I got this skill now. I got this new skill. Look at these, how pretty. So really there is just, there's no losing. There is no losing here. There is only winning. No matter how things turn out, there is only winning. And even when things fail and don't work out, you know, that's just a new opportunity to pivot and do other things. So yeah, all that rambling nonsense. Sorry guys. Just to say that this little hike would have been so easy for me, you know, 6-7 months ago. It scares me to death now. And I wonder if I can even do it. You know, I am just a bit shell-shocked from, you know, the condition of my back, and I did not expect the whole hike to be sideways like that. I didn't expect, I had no clue I had such a bad injury. So it has me real timid and really kind of anxious about things I'm attempting to hike. But see, here's the thing. You just gotta do it anyway, right? You know, fear is just a thing. It's just a feeling. It's just a thing. And it's a valid thing. And it's there to warn us. And it is a useful thing at times. But it's just a feeling. It's just a thing. It's just there. And I can either allow it to keep me in a prison of my own making, or I can just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. Because the fear is going to be there, whether or not I move in the direction I want. So I might as well just do what I want. Scared or not, anxious or not, worried or not, I might as well just do it. Because at least if I fall, I'm falling forward. I'm getting closer to my goal. And if my goal gets moved out of my reach, then I just create a new one. See? There's never any losing when you're determined to keep moving forward. Just gotta never quit. Okay, so apparently the Tammasee Knob Trail is black blazes. And look how pretty this is. This is, in a way, kind of similar to the Appalachian Trail. You know, a lot of people use the Foothills Trail as a shakedown hike before their AT hike, because it's a pretty good little, very similar. Although obviously I'm not on the Foothills Trail right now, but this is an offshoot of it, so same difference, right? And I'm really wondering, kind of thinking that in the spring, if I can afford it, you know, sometime in March, maybe I will try to do the Foothills Trail as a shakedown for the AT. And that can be my test run before I set off and go. The Foothills Trail is roughly the same distance as the Appalachian Trail in Georgia. It's 76 point something miles, and I think the AT in Georgia is 78 point something. So it's roughly the same distance. And of course, if I wanted to, it's the same distance. I could just do the AT in Georgia for my shakedown hike. Why not? But, you know, I've never done the Foothills Trail. Never even camped on it overnight. So my little ADHD brain thinks I would like that better. Because I've done Georgia at least twice. And, you know, it was kind of a mental thing also in March. Like, man, you know, I wanted to start at the beginning, as opposed to picking up where I left off at the end of my last section. Like, I want to start at the beginning because I wanted to be part of the bubble and the crowds and the fun and the excitement of it. But it kind of felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. Well, part of it was because I really wasn't getting anywhere. But it's like, yeah, okay, same old, I've done this before. I like exploring different places. And doing the same thing over and over again, it kind of gets boring to me. Thank you, unmedicated ADHD, which, by the way, got exponentially worse when menopause hit. Fun times. So, yeah, I'm kind of considering doing the Foothills Trail as a test run. If I'm able to, if I have enough money saved and I can, you know, take a couple weeks and do the Foothills Trail as a test run before I start the AT. I'm not going to start the AT until after Easter, though. Easter this year is very early. It is April 5th. So, all that week before Easter, of course, is Holy Week services. So I'm not going to do any hiking, camping, anything. You know, is it that last half week of March and first bit of April. So I'm thinking my AT start date is going to be April 11th, which is the following Saturday. So if I do a shakedown test hike, you know, maybe the second and third week of March. Oh, it'll be so cold. Oh, so cold. But if I do that, then take a couple week break for Easter and Holy Week, then I'll start at the end of Georgia. Maybe Unicoi Gap or even Dix Creek Gap. Start at the end of Georgia going into North Carolina. And then, assuming I make it to Maine, I can come back at the end of my hike and finish Georgia. At the end. But, you know, right now it just seems kind of redundant to me to start at the beginning all over again, when I've already done it at least twice between my section hikes and this last time in March, and, you know, repeat visits to certain sections. It's like, yeah, okay, I've kind of done all that. So this year I don't have the, you know, the urgency of, ooh, I got to start at spring, or nah, not this time. I think it would be fun to, if I make it to Maine, come back and do Georgia southbound. Kind of like a mini flip-flop in a way. That would be a different perspective. I mean, there's a lot of downhill on this part of the trail, which means on the way back it's going to be a lot of uphill. Yay! I've already gone a little over a mile, so definitely getting there. Okay, and we are 1.6 miles along the trail, so really only about a half mile until we get to the top of Tammasee Knob. There's a little bit of an uphill that I just did that wasn't too bad. Of course, all this downhill, like I said earlier, it's all going to be uphill on the way back, so yay. And you know, I started recording again because I had a thought I was going to share, and it already left. Squirrel! Yeah, there was a thought, and now it's gone. Yeah, I am absolutely loving this trail. This is fantastic. I mean, yeah, it could be cut back a little bit, and I'm sure they will at some point. Because, you know, they can't let the trail get 100% overgrown. Yeah, like this here is a little bit much. Alright, there we go. Better. But I've seen exactly one other person, and that was literally right when I got here. And it's quiet. Y'all can hear the birds. I mean, this is great. I am very glad that I decided to do this trail. And if I think of that thought, I will let you know. But right now, I got nothing. Now I remember the thought. As predicted, about 15-20 minutes into my hike, the pain in my hip and back went away. There is still some numbness and tingling in my lower leg and foot. But not much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of an annoyance. It's not pain. So, walking is the cure for this, at least in large part. Okay, here we are on the last bit of uphill. I think it's about maybe 3/10 of a mile to the top, if that. But it is all uphill. And then we have some views. Okay, I'm still 3/10 of a mile from the top. But look at this, my first little mini view. You know, and I'm the people, finally people. Okay, to be continued, so I'm not talking to myself like some kind of crazy person. I mean, we all know I'm crazy, but they don't need to know that yet, do they? Okay, here's another little view through the trees, this time on the other side of the trail. What I was going to say was, yeah, obviously I'm out of breath because that was a bit of a climb for me, is that the difference between now and a month ago, I can already tell a difference. Clearly I'm not in elite athletic shape yet, but compared to a month ago, so much better. Like that one hike I did a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, that was, what, 3.5 miles at Oconee State Park, and it was mostly flat. It had hills, but not like these. And y'all saw I was huffing and dying and puffing and just dying the whole way through. This time I really haven't gotten out of breath except for now. You know, the last 3/10 of a mile where there are some steep climbs. Again, there's a lot steeper on the AT, but climbs like these are on the AT too. So now I'm getting a little out of breath, but not to the extent that I was a month ago. So I can tell the food, the exercise, the DDP yoga, the cardio, the physical therapy rehab that I got from Dr. Google, all of that is working, at least in terms of conditioning. And of course, the 3 people that I just met on trail, they breezed by like it was nothing. Like, they're not huffing, they're not puffing, they don't even have hiking poles. They're just jabbering away, going straight up like it was nothing. But you know what? It is all good because I am doing better now than I did like 3 weeks ago. So I will take that for a win. Now I got about 2/10 of a mile to go, and we will be at the top and see some even cooler views. All right, we are right here, right at the end of the trail. Those 3 folks just went past me going the other way because they're way faster than me, like everyone is. And they said the view is amazing. So this is where All Trails has me ending for the day, and this is where I'm going to eat lunch and then turn around and go back. I mean, we could keep going that way if I wanted to, but I'm not. Ooh. And here we go, guys. Y'all ready for this? Check it out. Okay, so here's my lunch. Barley with beans and tuna with tomato basil. And I've got a couple of these little tortillas to put them on. So this should fill me right up. And this is the perfect lunch spot, as long as it doesn't start raining. Lunch is done, so it is about 10 till 3, and I'm going to head on back down to my car. And of course it might take me a bit longer this time because you remember a lot of the first part of this hike was downhill. That means it's gonna be uphill on the way back. Gross. But you know what? It's fine because Lord knows I need the practice. So I've been sitting here on this boulder here for about the past 30 minutes or so. No pain in my back, but sitting cross-legged on that boulder, yeah, my leg's a little numb and tingly and sort of falling asleep, but not bad, just annoying. I'm trying to, my trekking poles are getting tangled up in my charger cord, so that's why I'm kind of looking all over the place. But yeah, anyway, I'm headed back down now, so see y'all on the flip side. Well, it wouldn't be a hike that I do without at least one wrong turn, right? So I went that way instead of turning to the right this way. The way I went significantly downhill for a way, and then I really got someplace. I'm like, wait, this doesn't look familiar. Sure enough, I had veered off and I had to go even more uphill, pretty steep uphill, to get back to where I am. So probably went off by about 1/10 of a mile total. Then turned around and did another 1/10 of a mile back. So more training, more rehab. It's still a win. And now I'm on the right path, and it pretty much is all uphill from here to get back to my car. At least a good bit of it. So it's a win. Training, rehab. That's how you win. You just don't quit, even when you do something stupid. Looky here, y'all. We are back here at the parking lot. Did the whole thing, did not die. So, high five. High five and thank you, God. All right, well, Okay, so having made it back to the parking lot in one piece, which is more than slightly miraculous, I will bid you all farewell for now. Keep working on those goals. Don't give up. If you need to, pivot, improvise, and adapt so that you can overcome. One step at a time. Embrace the suck. Never freaking quit. So, yep, I have made it back to the Catmobile. I'm going home. I got dinner to eat. I made lamb shanks last night for dinner tonight. I'm going to go have me some lamb and a baked sweet potato. Maybe even a glass of red wine. That's about it. Y'all have a great night, great day, great week. Remember, live, love, hike.